Sorry.
Hello. All right, should we just get started? We've got some really interesting stuff to talk about here today, so have a seat and we'll get going. It is really, I have a double honor today. And the double honor is, Accenture is a really valuable partner for us on so many levels. And I'm joined by the new North American CEO for Accenture, Manish Sharma, in his first public appearance, so I'm thrilled that we get to be part of this. And then the other component of it is we're here to announce a really exciting program on skills development. And we are collaborating with Accenture to launch the Goodwill Green Tech Accelerator, which will train up a number of people for green skills job, specifically focusing on people from disadvantaged community and meet the growing need in those industries in the future. So I'm going to turn it over to Manish to share a couple of thoughts from Accenture's perspective.
Thanks, Steve. First of all, I think really excited about being here and about, I think, participating in an announcement, which I think is very dear to my personal, what choices I make, right? I think this is about clean tech accelerator. And I'll kind of go into the details about this initiative, which we are partnering with, my good friend Steve here. But it is, if I look across the patch, right, there are about 9 million energy jobs which are needed to created in the next decade or so. A cause for all of us are really passionate about. And when I look at this, there could not have been a better partner than Goodwill, who have a mission around community engagement and upliftment, which I think is super exciting. And when I talk about some of these pieces, it is important to kind of understand that right now we have the 9 million jobs. The jobs are there, but the talent is not there. And in this partnership and this initiative with Goodwill, we are going to train the people who can do these jobs. And I'll give you some examples of some of the jobs. HVAC technicians, the electricians that we are talking about for clean energy. We look at solar panel installations across the world. We have an amazing amount of jobs which are there, but we don't have the talent. And I think what we are going to do with Goodwill is around creating and nurturing the talent that can service what I call as unfulfilled demand while we fight the climate crisis that we all are passionate about. So I think that is kind of the direction that we are going to take. We are going to invest from Accenture about 1.9 million pro bono and cash to kind of work with Goodwill to really uplift the jobs. And I think when I say this, it's also about underemployment and unemployment, trying to bring and bridge that gap so that we can really service and get people the right kind of jobs. One of the other stats I want to leave you with is the average median salary, you look at it, is about 42K. And when I talked about some of the jobs around the electricians, the HVAC technicians, the solar panel, it's about 62. You can imagine the upliftment that we will actually get across the community, across the full nation as we do this. So very excited, I think, where we are going to go. As I said, it's only out of the 9 million, we are only tapping a few, so there is a lot more to be done here. But super excited about this announcement and about this partnership. Steve?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, we pay a lot of attention to what's happening in labor markets. We serve a couple of million people a year. About 200,000 of those people get intensive job services. And we're in the middle of an accelerating transition in the labor force. We've been seeing it probably for the last 15 years, but if you look going forward with automation and digitization and now AI layered onto it, we think, and I think most people think, that transition is going to accelerate. And recent research we've seen is low-wage workers are 14 times more likely to be affected by that transition than higher wage workers. And so even as a lot of jobs are going away, a lot of jobs are being created in emerging industries, healthcare, logistics, and the green industry. So this is a perfect time to be focusing on something like this. And at the same time, we see a tremendous amount of federal investment going on that will drive these jobs, not only immediately, but we think into the future. If we look at the people that we serve, those 2 million people, 83% have a high school degree or less. They are people for whom a skills pathway is life-changing. It is the bridge that gaps often poverty and a fundamentally different kind of future. And so what we bring to the table here is an understanding of the population we serve, and we will be providing a number of things. Well, first of all, we will be providing people with foundational skills, if they need those. Workforce readiness, digital skills, those core needs that people require even to move into this type of specialty training. In addition to that, many of you understand that many of those people that we serve need other kinds of supports. They may need childcare. They may need transportation. They need the support in their lives to make it through that pathway and be successful upon launch. And then with the support of Accenture and other partners that they've brought to the table as well, that specialty training, which is so important, will then allow them to go into these green jobs. So, the solar jobs, the heat pump and energy efficiency, the EV stations. Now, I want to mention one other thing. Manish mentioned 1.9 million from Accenture, and part of that's cash, part of that's in kind. I cannot tell you how grateful we are for the pro bono support piece of that. When an organization with the strength and sophistication and knowledge and network of Accenture comes to partner with us on something like this, on the program design, on the pedagogy, on the thinking through the employer relationships, the structure, those two teams coming together create something that's just magic. And so we often like to talk about dollars, but the heft that Accenture brings to the table here, and has in the past with us, is so valuable, and I think it's just a terrific example of what a nonprofit and corporate partnership can look like. That's very valuable. So I don't want to forget that, because we are so grateful for your team. They're incredible, and yeah.
I know you have been kind on this, right? I will just say that there are not many partners like Goodwill who can actually help us with this. So, I think it's mutual, the admiration around here. I think few points I want to kind of, in terms of what we want to achieve. So I mentioned in the first part, right, about 9 million jobs, unmet needs, fighting the climate crisis. I think if you look at the Paris targets, we're talking about decarbonization, I think clean energy. A lot of this thing comes with digitization, the confluence of data, AI, and everything else, because all this is actually helping in the targets that we are going to meet, right, as we move forward. What we will accomplish, and I think it is important, we together are going to accomplish 7,000 jobs in 7 years. That's kind of, I think, the target that we are setting out as we go in this. So as you can, again, look at the numbers, 9 million, and we are still, a small drop in this whole thing, right? And that is what we were discussing even prior to this, that how we can even scale this up even further. But right now, we are starting with 7 in 7. 7,000 jobs in the next 7 years. Right now, even when I speak about this, the Clean Tech Accelerator program will cater to only a bit of the needs. You look at solar panel, technicians. Right now, we don't have them enough. You go around and you will find either they are not qualified or they don't have the right skill sets, and that is what will work. We talk about, EV charging stations. We are again struggling there. And that is another big target that we are actually going to be looking at on this. So our key, focus is about fighting this climate crisis through clean tech job creation. We're very focused around 5 or 6 job categories. And we have got partners who are actually going to work with, with Goodwill in terms of imparting this training. But that is kind of, I think, where we will be focused in. So the second number I want all of you to remember is 7 in 7. Steve.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the exciting things about a program like this is how often do you get job creation for people who need a different future, talent for corporations who desperately are looking for it, and driving change in the global in the crisis that we face in our climate. So I appreciate your mentioning all of that, because it really is sort of a win-win-win. And we will be in the process. We'll be inviting others to the party if other people want to be part of this exciting program. Because I think really the great thing about our network is once we get something that works, there's hunger for other people to adopt it. And I think the visibility of what this creates and enables will become a catalyst, I think, for further expansion. The way we're going to launch this is we're going to start in 4 markets. We're going to start in Houston, Atlanta, Nashville, and then Detroit for the areas that Manish mentioned. These are all markets where we've been very successful in other skills program, particularly digital skills. In fact, I was chatting with Manish beforehand because in our digital skills program in Nashville, we have 2 very well-known success stories of people who went into the Accenture apprenticeship programs and get jobs. And one woman was somebody who didn't speak English, had 4 children, was homeless, and within a series of months worked through her language skills, her math skills, then acquired digital skills, was brought into the apprenticeship program, and now works full-time at Accenture and has a fundamentally different life because of it. So we see these remarkable stories every day, and we're anchoring in some locations that we think will be very promising. We're also working, once again, with the help of Accenture, connecting with a few firms that are really deeply embedded in this space. I'm just going to make sure I remind me of who they are. Charger Help for the electric vehicle charging stations, Block Power for the heat pump installation, and Grid Alternatives for the solar and storage installation. So we're really, because of the partnership, able to work with best of breed providers in the industry so that we make sure that we get the pedagogy design right, and that we get the on-ramping and the support right so that people can be successful in these industries with sort of the oversight of people that are doing this every day. So, once again, we're very excited about this. We think this could be game-changing for us. We think it could ramp into something much bigger over time. 7 in 7. Thank you, Manish. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I think just wanted to add that this is probably the most impactful part of at least my job, and I'm sure for Steve, right? Because this is where we are making difference to people's life. And I think that is why we are so excited, about this whole program. Accenture, in the corporate citizenship program, we have till now impacted about 5.8 million people across the world, right? So I think this is kind of in addition to what we are doing in the corporate citizenship program. We have an apprenticeship program, which Steve mentioned, which is kind of impacting life of folks who have not gotten college degrees. And now we have got this. So this is kind of in addition and continuation of a lot of stuff that we already do. And I think we want to make a real impact in the communities around this. And I think this will, and this is an intersection of really providing the right opportunities, fighting the climate crisis in the right area, in unmet need of the industry and the communities around this. So super excited about this, and I think this is probably, I want to kind of extend an invitation, whoever wants to join us with this, because as I said, this is still 9 million jobs to be created. We are still touching only 7,000 in 7 years, so more the merrier. So please come and join us as we go in this exciting journey here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.